Hello guys, it's me and my friend Smart here, and today we're going to be talking about every single version of Microsoft Windows. But first, we need to talk about something.
So, as you all know, Ninja here has been really inactive, and so have I. You probably don't even remember who I am. So we're going to be talking about that before we begin. So I'll pass the microphone over to Ninja.
I've been pretty inactive for making long-form videos, which is because I had a lot of combination of things between school and family stuff and all of that stuff. And I really want to start making more long-form content like this, whether it be gaming or tech. I just really want to get back into that scene again.
Yeah. The other thing is, as you all know, you probably don't remember me. If you don't remember me, I'm Smart Ninja 365, aka Smart. I used to manage the tech side on this channel. And I have been active for like a year or two now, and that's because the same reasons that Ninja has listed out. And also because the thing is, Ninja wouldn't really give me access to the channel for whatever reason. But hopefully this time, there will also be content from me on my own as well on this channel, if Ninja here gives me some access. But the other thing I want to talk about is, the videos didn't have a whole lot of quality to them. But me and Ninja have both learned a little bit of editing. So we're gonna edit most of these videos. And and I'll let you know how I've rebranded Tarp Extras into my own channel. That rebranding is gonna be reverted, so my channel's gonna come back to being Tarp Extras. So yeah. Anyways, without further ado, let's go.
So, let's start at the very beginning with Windows 1.0. This was the first version of Windows released in 1985.
Yeah, almost 40 years ago. And it was special because it allowed users to run multiple programs at once in a window format. It was a pretty basic operating system. It had a graphical user interface, but it was mostly just a shell for MS-DOS, which was a basic command line operating system. And it allowed users to run multiple programs at once, but it wasn't very user-friendly because of the difficulties in user interface. It was functional, but it wasn't anything more than functional.
Windows 2.0 was released in 1987. This version introduced some new features like improved graphics and the ability to overlap windows on top of each other.
That's right. It also introduced support for expanded memory and improved keyboard shortcuts. But it still wasn't very popular with users, and the graphical user interface, or GUI, still wasn't perfect yet. In fact, it was quite literally the same.
And then in 1990 came out Windows 3.0, which was a pretty huge success at the time. And it completely redesigned the user interface and introduced features like virtual memory and improved support for multimedia.
Yes. It also introduced support for long file names and the program manager, which made it easier to organize and launch applications. It was a big step forward for Windows and partially shaped Windows to the way it is today. So yeah.
Next came Windows 95 in 1995. And this version introduced the Start menu and taskbar, which are still used today. It basically makes Windows what it is right now.
Yes, and it also introduced plug-and-play support for hardware devices, making it easier to install new peripherals like printers and scanners. It also introduced support for long file names and improved network.
Then came Windows 98 in 1998. This version improved on the features of Windows 95 and added support for USB devices.
That's right. It also introduced support for multiple monitors and improved power management. And it included Internet Explorer 4, which made it easier to browse the web. Now, I want to add, before that, you could get a CD for a browser like that and download a browser.
And yeah, then came Windows ME or ME in 2000. This version came with features like System Restore and Movie Maker.
Yes. System Restore allowed users to roll back the system to a previous state if something went wrong. For example, if I had a virus on my computer and I was running Windows Me, I could just revert my computer to a time where the virus was not there. And Movie Maker made it easy to create home movies. But Windows Me was also criticized for being unstable or buggy. Oh, and by the way, remember how I told you guys we were getting better at editing? We're going to use Windows Movie Maker. I'm not kidding. We're not going to do that. So yeah.
In 2001, we got Windows XP, which was a huge success, even more compared to Windows 3.0. It completely redesigned the user interface and introduced features like fast user switching and improved networking.
Yes, it also introduced support for wireless networking and improved security features, like the Windows Firewall. It was a very popular version of Windows that, sadly, they still use today. Some people. Now I do want to note something though. Windows XP, is a very important operating system, and it shaped Windows into what it is today. And the one thing that wasn't meant that Ninja didn't mention here, was that Windows XP used a different kernel. So all these releases beforehand, all the way from Windows 1.0 through Windows ME or Windows Me, used DOS as their kernel, and they were just a graphical user interface for DOS. But Windows XP here actually used Windows NT, which stands for Windows New Technology, as its kernel, which if you notice, business releases of Windows use that. So yeah, they switched kernels as well, so the stability was so much better than Windows Me was. So yeah.
And then was Vista, Windows Vista in 2006. This version introduced the Era user interface and added new security features. If you're wondering what the Era user interface is, it basically redesigned the original wallpaper that was used when you launched the computer and made the taskbar transparent, almost transparent.
Yeah. And it made the windows look like glass, so everything was more glass-like. Basically. Many users found it slow and resource-intensive. This was due to the fact that Vista's requirements were too high for computers at the time. This was fixed in later service packs, basically updates at the time that you would get from Microsoft's website. However, jumping into 2009, we got Windows 7, which fixed many of the issues with Vista and added a couple of new features such as jump lists and snap. Jump lists acting like shortcuts, and snap would have a snap animation when you split screened windows or something.
Then came Windows 8 in 2012. This version introduced the start screen and support for touchscreens, which was very huge at that time.
But many users found the change confusing and preferred to stick with Windows 7. The start screen replaced the start menu with the full screen display of tiles representing applications.
Yes, but some users found it difficult to navigate and missed the familiar start menu. And then in 2015, we got Windows 10, which brought back the start menu and added new features like Cortana.
Cortana was a digital assistant that can help users with tasks like setting reminders or searching for information online, while virtual desktops allow users to organize their open windows into separate workspaces.
And finally, we have Windows 11 released in October of 2021. This version introduces a redesigned start menu that is centered on the taskbar by default, but can be moved back to its original left-aligned position if desired. The new start menu no longer has live tiles, but instead uses icons that can be rearranged or pinned to the top.
Another new feature is snap layouts, which allow users to quickly snap windows into various configurations by hovering over the Maximize button. There are also improvements to virtual desktops, such as being able to set different wallpapers for each desktop.
Microsoft Teams is now integrated into the taskbar, allowing users to quickly start or join video calls. There are also gaming improvements such as direct storage, which allows games to load faster by giving them more direct access to high-speed storage.
Auto HDR is another gaming improvement that automatically adds high dynamic range to games that were developed before HDR was available. The Microsoft Store has also been redesigned and now includes more types of content, such as Android apps that could be run in Windows 11.
Definitely. It's been amazing to see how Windows has come this far since its first release.
So that's it for our detailed discussion on every single version of Microsoft Windows. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.